What's up, everybody? I'm back behind the lines, NFL Week 7. Ryan Reed at DudeManPA, once again joined by Daniel Dobish at Daniel Dobish on Twitter. How we doing, Daniel?
How's it going, buddy? Let's pick some more winners this week, man.
Indeed, if we have a week like we did again last week, once again, I say if we're going to make money every week, this is going to be a great venture. Just to recap real quick, in week 6, we were 13-6-1, bringing the show total to 43-23-3. So let's get started. Let's pick some more winners. Let's start right away with Thursday night game, Saints at the Cardinals. What were you thinking about for another lovely Thursday night dud?
The Thursday night game's 5-1 to the under so far, but thankfully we finally have two teams that have some semblance of offense. We get DeAndre Hopkins back this week. Former Panther Robbie Anderson make his debut for the Cardinals. I think that James Conner, I believe he's still sidelined or he's nicked up, so I think the pass game could be a little more effective for Arizona. I think they're going to go to the pass a lot more. The Saints are also banged up in the secondary a little bit. Marshawn Lattimore is out. So I think that this is going to be a little bit more of a pass-happy game. So I like the over. I think 43.5 is a low number. Finally, Thursday Night Football fans, Amazon, they're going to get their money's worth.
I agree with you here. I think the early lean on this game was going to be the under. You saw the line go down just a few points. I do like coming back on the other side after we've had a lot of action drive the points 2 or 3 in one direction. I also think it's going to be a more exciting game for our Thursday night. So I'm going to jump in with you. We're going to take over 43.5.
Sweet.
And move right along the list here. What's up next? We've got Detroit and Dallas. Dak is back. Is that the report I saw right before the show?
That looks pretty good. He's been medically cleared, so he's ready to roll. He's been chomping at the bit for a while to get back anyway. If it was up to him, he probably would have played a game or two ago, especially the Philly game.
So absolutely. I don't think that having Dak back is necessarily a bad thing for Dallas. I think their explosive plays probably increase. They probably do have a little bit more liability because of those explosive plays to have some more turnovers. But at the same time, it's still a strong team. I'm going to go Dallas minus the points here. What were you thinking about in this game?
I had looked at Detroit. If I could get 7 and a hook, I see SI still got 7 and a hook there. Detroit's gone 4-1 to the over, but the last time we saw them, a donut. 2 weeks ago. They've had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. They're 9-1. They're past 10 after they failed to cover in their last game. So I kind of like that a little bit. But the lean here, after seeing what we saw last time against the semi-decent defense in New England, I like the under in this game. I think Dak might be a little bit rusty. I think that the Lions, they're not facing the Seahawks. They're not facing a poor defense. They're facing a really good defense in Dallas. So 49 is a lot of points. So I'll take the under in that game and kind of stay away from the Lions. They have some injury issues, and I'm not quite sure if Amon-Ra St. Brown is a 100%. DJ Chark's been out. DeAndre Swift should be okay, but there's just a lot of question marks for the Lions, so I'd rather go under.
I like it. I'll take Dallas. You'll take the under. That gives the people 2 plays in one game. You can't beat that.
Excellent.
All right. Man, the NFC East darling, not the Philadelphia Eagles. The Giants, 5-1. 5-1. Just keep rolling. Wow. What a year to get started with that. Man, I didn't expect it. Where do you see this going here with the Jaguars in Florida?
This is kind of a stunning line if you look at it just from the record standpoint. 5-1, still getting no respect. Underdog to the Jaguars. This is a team that we just saw lose to the Houston Texans 13-6. I think Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones, they got it going on right now. That they look really good. The receiver situation's a little shaky. Maybe Daniel Bellinger might be their biggest red red zone threat, and that's not a good thing. But they're 5-1 against the spread this season, not just straight up, but 5-1 against the spread. That's nice. The under has gone 4-1-1 in their last 6 also. And Jacksonville's they haven't covered in 3 games. I'll take those points with the Giants any day of the week until the Jaguars look like an NFL caliber team like they did in the first couple of weeks. I'll keep rolling with the Cinderella story Giants.
I hate to say it when you're ahead units on a team, but we have been betting some of these dogs here weekly and coming through for us weekly. So I am going to just keep doing it as long as it sort of looks similar. I agree. I think the Giants are the better team. Hopefully they can sneak out a win. And if not, they only lose by a field goal. I also like the +3.5 there.
Definitely.
Colts, Tennessee. Matt Ryan. Did anybody see Matt Ryan fully becoming Matty Ice and avalanching 400 yards of passing? That was an amazing week for him. I did not see that coming, and that definitely did not help some of my side bets that I had rolling. What do you got here for Colts Titans?
Yeah, we picked on him. I believe I said he looked like he was 213 years old or something like that last week. He looked like, oh yeah, he looked like Boston College. He looked like first half of the Super Bowl against the Patriots, Matt Ryan, last week against the Jaguars. And then, it kind of fell apart a little bit. It was 34-27, first over of the season. That was nice. We saw these teams play already, a couple of weeks ago or earlier in the season, and they took care of business. The Titans took care of the Colts. I think they take care of them again. The fact that it's only a 2.5-point number on their home field, that's pretty nice. I believe that the Titans are going to run the ball quite a bit all over the Colts. This game could be a little bit low scoring. I looked at the under on this, and the under is 5-1 in the past 6 for Indy and 2-0 in the past 2 for the Titans, which isn't a huge sample size, but I just 2.5 is hard to get away from. That if it was 3 or 3.5, I might not feel as good about it, but 2.5 looks that's hard to pass up.
Absolutely. I was more on the under, so I'm going to put you down for the -2.5 Tennessee. I really would like to grab a 43 if anybody can find one out there. I'll settle since we have to make a pick for the show for this 42.5. This would be something where I would definitely try to see if I could get a 43 later, maybe even make a second bet in game just to go ahead and insulate my position. All right. Falcons have not done us wrong all year. What are they, 6-0 now against the spread?
6-0, the only perfect team so far against the number.
It's fantastic. The disrespect to Marcus Mariota. We will take it to the bank every single week if they're going to keep feeding it. Let's see here. Bengals, Falcons. I think we had some trends to the under here for the Bengals. We have the Falcons covering every week of their lives. 10-1 to the under. What do you think we're going to hit under in this game? Is it going to be one of those games where the Falcons can slow down the Bengals enough, or the Bengals don't care to score enough because they don't necessarily need to outrun the Falcons?
Yeah, I've been picking against the Falcons like a moron, and it hasn't been working out very well for me. The defense is only allowing 18.7 points. That's pretty nice. The Bengals have gone 5-1 to the under in the past 6. And the under's 10-1 and their last 11 overall going back to last season. 47.5 is like one of those perfect numbers if you like the under. 27-20, still a pretty high scoring game in the NFL, and that still covers the number. So I will take the under. 47.5 is perfect for me. I love that. Like you said, all the trends are looking pretty good. The fact that it seems like the whole world's going over is even better. We've talked about that before, obviously, about it, going against Joey Public. That's the best thing to do.
And it sounds like we're in lockstep on this one. My pick here was also under 47.5, and I did take a long look at all of that action on the over. And the first thing I did was look up and see that we opened at 43, and now we're pushing that nice number, 47.5. That is exactly what I was thinking. Let's go ahead and take that. They moved the number for us, and now we get a nice line for this game.
Totally. It's almost like it's a free teaser.
Absolutely. I like that. So, Browns, Ravens.
Yeah.
What do you got here? Divisional rival game. They got a little bit of history. Ravens won and covered in the last 5 series meetings, but the road team is also 5-1.
Yeah, for a rivalry to be a rivalry, there has to be an equal amount of wins, and we just haven't seen that a lot from the Browns in quite a few of their rivalries. Steelers been a domination, except for the one season they actually beat them in the playoffs, which is nice. But the Browns are 0-3 in their past 3. They had lost 3 games by a total of 6 points, and they just got smashed by the Patriots last week. 2-4 overall. The over is 5-1 for the Browns. I think that's something I would be interested in this game. They've allowed 27.2 points overall. Their defense is just terrible, and Lamar Jackson's probably not going to make that number go down. But the under is or the total 45.5. I don't love that. I think that based on what we saw from the Browns defense last week, I think that the Ravens -6.5, as long as it doesn't go to a flat 7 or 7.5, I kind of like that a little bit. I don't trust Jacoby Brissett, and the defense has just looked horrible. I know in Cleveland they want to toss Joe Wood into Lake Erie. He's just doing a terrible job. So I'll take the Ravens laying the points.
Excellent. I'm going to take the over 45.5 that you were talking about
Nice.
there. I thought long and hard about it, but the defense for the Browns isn't good.
No.
Lamar will get some things clicking at some point. It's not that he's not playing horrible, but he's also not playing great. So there's room for improvement there. The Giants defense was actually pretty decent. I only saw Mark Andrews being the only real in there, and that was definitely exploited for pretty much all of their offense that day. I'm glad you added Baltimore -6.5. It was my second favorite pick in that game. So at least we give the people 2 picks in another game. So I like that. Buccaneers, Panthers, Tampa Tom. I talk about this every week. I just want to go on the record again saying that I would not be surprised if this man retires mid-season. I know it seems like a wild call, but he does not look interested.
No, he's definitely not the same guy that he's been, the past 47 years or however long he's been playing. But opposite side, yeah, I got my Panthers jersey on today. Brandon LaFell player worn jersey, by the way, which, hey, same physique. I could probably play receiver for the Panthers, maybe now, probably, but
you're going to have to pick up a PJ Walker after this week.
Oh yeah, they're going to have to pick him up quite a bit from the floor. He's starting again. The guy, I don't know what the game plan was last week against the Rams, but they would not throw past the line of scrimmage. It was such a terrible, boring game to watch. Everything was little dinks and dunks. If you have Christian McCaffrey in fantasy, wonderful, because that was pretty much the game plan. Hit him, little dinks and dunks, and try to do something. I don't know what they were doing. It was just a mess. The defense actually outscored the Panthers offense last week with another defensive touchdown. And if it wasn't for 3 defensive touchdowns for the Panthers, their offensive numbers would really look even worse. Tampa Bay is only allowing 20.2 points a game anyway. Under, man, it's a low number. It's a low number, especially for the NFL. But I will take.
Hit.
Oh yeah, I would take the under. I hate to go along with the majority. The masses are, it looks like about a 5-1 play on the under, but this game could easily be something like 23-3, 26-3.
23-17 is where I had it pegged.
That's
So
close.
I have a
That's
note.
close.
Do not play it under 40.5 is the note I have, but I do want the under
Nice.
40.5.
Yeah, I will definitely go with that. But I could see Tampa Bay laying the points, but double-digit home dogs usually do pretty good. In this case, the Panthers are probably one of the worst teams we've seen in a long time. I don't know how they beat the Saints. But I will take the under, and I will not like it very much. But
I will add here that do you think that nah, it's not going to move far enough. I was going to say that this number here for the Panthers might go up another point or so, but I don't know that it's really going to be that big of a deal.
that's the kind of game where I mentioned a teaser before. You'll toss that into a teaser and have like a 7-point. You'll have 18 points. You're like, no way I can lose. Totally will lose. It'll be.
I have a game that I actually like to teaser on for later. I wrote it down, so we're almost there.
That's awesome. I love a teaser talk.
So, Packers Commanders. Who's worse? I know it's definitely probably the Commanders, but I also want to take the Commanders plus 5.5 on Bet Rivers this week.
Nice. Well, we do get a former Carolina Panther, Taylor Heineke, and former Old Dominion Monarch. He started quite a few games last year for the Commanders. I believe it was 14 total. The 9-2 to the under in his last 11 starts, and that includes the 24-10 game in Green Bay last season. I like. Could we get 41.5 still? Is that still on the board for the under? If so, I will take that. I would like that. 41.5. I will go under. Aaron Rodgers just doesn't look like the same Aaron Rodgers. It's kind of a wonderful thing. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, all those guys are kind of fading off into the sunset. We're getting like a new set of stars, and I like it. It's about time. You know, it's great watching Josh Allen, watching Lamar Jackson, watching Patrick Mahomes. I mean, these guys, you know, Justin Herbert, even though he didn't look that good on Monday night for all those people who did the boost bet, that didn't work out so hot.
Guilty. That was me.
I think that was the whole world. How can you 8 to 1 to 1 to 1?
Absolutely.
That's a little fishy, actually. But anyway,
it is a little sketch. But those things do happen. They do happen,
especially against Denver. There was enough. They have a good defense. But anyway, back to this game. Packers are 4-2 to the under in the past 6. Their under is 2-0 on the road, unless you count the London game, which I believe that's technically a home game for the Packers, so I won't count that one. They're 2-0 on the road in North America. I'll stick with the under. I don't like Heineke. I don't really like the Commanders' offense at all. The last that we saw from them was just a snoozeville game against the Bears. So under 41.5.
I like the under. I'm going to say that if we think the game is going under, taking those home points is also a good idea. I'm going to ride that one, the plus 5.5 Washington. Good luck to us both. Next up, I believe this is my teaser game, and it probably makes a lot of sense.
These are your guys.
Just when you look at this line, if this is going to cross the 0 marker and we're going to officially get Jets as a favorite, you might as well go ahead and throw your 6 onto this one right now and get yourself a plus 7. And then I think you can go ahead and still jump. If you drop 6 onto the total, then you could be working with the open line, whichever way you like there. I always like to try and get if somebody's going to leave an open up and it's moved a couple of points one way or another, and you can still get anything that's at open, just do it. There's a reason the other books have moved. What are you thinking about here with the Jets Broncos? I think the Jets are better than everybody gives them credit for, and until the Broncos prove they're not worse than everybody thinks, I'm still there.
I mean, these are your guys. You've been picking the Jets, since we've been doing this, and they allowed 10 points in Lambeau last week. That was an impressive win, probably the most impressive win we've seen from the Jets since the Mark Gastineau days. It's been a while for the Jets,
for sure.
But anyway, I don't want to pick on the Jets. They have long-suffering fans, and hey, maybe we'll see a Subway Super Bowl. Is there a Subway in New Jersey? I don't know. It's not an official New York team, but anyway, they looked pretty good on defense last week against the Packers. Russell Wilson's banged up. He's got, in addition to a partially torn lat, he's got the hamstring that's been bothering him now. So seems like a little bit of an excuse, Bill, but we could see maybe Brett Rippon in this game, and that really makes me like the Jets a little bit. But from what we've seen from the Broncos defense, I think this will be the best defense that the Jets have seen all season. The under has gone 5-1 so far for Denver. The under's 4-1 in the past 5 when the Jets covered in their last game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, 38.5 is such a low number. It's such a low number, but I could actually I could actually see it happen. I could see it happen. I could see 20-10, 20-13. I mean, come on, give me something. It's possible.
It all makes sense that could happen. I mean, the Chargers Broncos game the other night may have been the worst second half / overtime / everything that I ever had to witness. You can get worse, I'm
Denver
sure.
Colts.
It was okay. Really? And what were the scores? They were really close to 38.
12-9, 19-16.
I mean, so we're a field goal away. I think they're going to get a field goal. Oh, man. It's too low for me to bet. It's already moved down like 5 points. It's so close to the worst games we all feel like we've ever watched. If those games work out to be a field goal to the over, you lose all this. So, I just feel like it went too far. I'm going to take the Jets plus 1.5.
Yeah, we could even get a defensive touchdown or something that kind of changes everything. You're kind of talking. You're kind of talking me into it, but I wish I could have got the Jets plus 4. Oh, what were the books thinking?
I'm not sure.
You know what? I'm changing. I'm going with it. I'm going with the Jets. Take the point. 38.5 is just too low. And the Jets did get a block punt for a touchdown last week, and the game did still go under. But yeah, I just don't. I swear to God, I think we're going to see Brett Rippon in this game at some point.
I think the injury stuff is just an insulated. It's a pre-excuse for when they don't perform. I'm also hearing some whisperings from inside Denver here that we're going to try and eliminate the mistake of benching Melvin Gordon last week by running him 20 times into this Jets front. All that stuff sounds great for that under, but yeah, like I said, sometimes that fruit seems too low. I do think the Jets are the better team. I also wish that I got that 4, which is why we wrote down that teaser for this game, so you can get your Jets plus 7 and under 44.5. I think that's probably my favorite bet on this one.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. I like that.
Fantastic. So, Texans Raiders, another team that I think I'm just going to keep betting as long as they're a touchdown dog every week. Houston.
Yeah, I have Houston plus 7 written down. They went to Jacksonville 13-6. Both of these teams are coming off a bye, so they're nice and rested. The Raiders, they're 0-5 in their last 5 after a bye. It seems like that maybe gets them a little healthy, but it makes them a little rustier too. Houston plus 7. Let's go. If we can get it plus 7.5 before Sunday, that'd be even better. But
I don't think we got any 7.5s, and no, I do see that it's moving. It's moving that way, even though we're getting. It seems kind of weird. I'm willing to bet this makes a U-turn. So maybe we had some early action in one direction, but it seems wrong to me. I'm with you. Houston plus 7. If you find a 7.5, hug it and kiss it.
Yeah, 2-1 on the Raiders. I don't understand what people are seeing, but that's a lack of disrespect, or that's a lack of respect for the Texans. I think Pierce, he can run the ball and be pretty effective in that game.
Absolutely. The Raiders just don't have a great defense, so I like to take whoever's going up against the Raiders if they're going to get a touchdown. I don't care if it's in Vegas. Vegas really isn't a home field advantage, in my opinion.
No, not at all.
I mean, I was literally at a game there just a few weeks ago, and there's just as many out-of-towners as anyone else.
Nice.
So, Kansas City 49ers. I think the lock and load here every week that you would like to play is going to be an over for the Kansas City Chiefs. How do we feel about playing an over against the Niners? Looks like all the bets are pretty split. We only have shifted about a point. So if you really wanted to get that over, I think, man, it's a lot of points required. And I feel like maybe this is not going to get to 50.
I do not like a 48.5 as a total if I wanted to play the over. San Francisco has hit the under in their 12 of their last 14, and including 4-0 in the last 4 at home. So I think the Niners have enough defense to kind of keep Patrick Mahomes at bay a little bit, but I don't love the under either. I kind of like the Chiefs minus 2.5. Again, those 2.5 numbers, they're just like, man, those are so hard to pass up, especially for a team that's clearly better. They're better than the 49ers. The 49ers they are world beaters one week against a team like the Panthers or somebody, and then they totally disappear and get doubled up by the Falcons. You just don't know what you're going to get from them. From the Chiefs, you know what you're going to get. It's consistency. Not a lot of defense, but nice offense. I think they'll be able to solve the Niners just like, we saw the Chiefs make the Buccaneers defense look bad. We saw them go down and just hammer Arizona, and the Cardinals are looking like a pretty decent defense. I'll take the Chiefs minus the 2.5. That's just too hard to pass up, and especially get in before it gets to 3 and 3.5.
I'm in. I think opening it at 1.5 was probably a bad idea. They're giving us a little bit of extra time to sneak in that 2.5. I do see that win has now moved to 3, which I do not believe was there approximately an hour ago. I think they were all 2.5s across the board. The thing I also would like to add here is we just watched the Chiefs barely lose a game to possibly the best team that's existed since the 2016 Patriots, offensively, defensively, all metrics. I read something about that. I don't exactly remember the stats on that one, but it does not surprise me that they're rating out to the moon. That team looks great. The Chiefs barely lost. I think they can. It's the Levi's thing. The Niners do cover in Levi's, but I think the Chiefs are just too much. Minus 2.5. I'm in.
Yeah, the Niners, they have covered in the past 6 at home, so that's a little hard to pass up, but I still think the Chiefs are a better team.
I'm going to take that with you. I agree. All right. There's another darling on the board every single week, and they are the Seattle Seahawks. I see a lot of green down here, a lot of action coming in on the Seahawks spread. Opened up over the touchdown line. That explains why we had a lot. Do you think it's still worth taking the Seahawks plus 6.5 here, or did we miss our window?
6.5 is one of those numbers where, it's a lot of points, but it's not a lot of points. The Chargers did not look very good on Monday night. 19-16 against the Broncos, obviously a good defense. Seahawks are not a good defense. If I'm going to play anything in this game, I kind of like the over, actually. We saw Seattle score quite a few points a couple weeks ago against the Lions and the Saints. This offense can move the ball, and especially with Rashad Penny out now and Kenneth Walker being in there, he's a good running back, but I think they're going to pass a little more. I think they'll be able to pass on the Chargers a little more. I think the Chargers will be able to pass all over the Seahawks. The over is 9-3 in the past 12 for the Chargers, despite what happened on Monday. Herbert is he's a tremendous quarterback. He's, again, one of those young guns, the new generation of quarterbacks we were just talking about before there. I like over 50.5 or 50, even better.
I'll take the 50.
I've seen 51, and so it looks like maybe people are betting the under a little bit, and that makes me like the over even more.
So I looked at that too. I also wrote down over 50. You can grab it at Caesars, Points Bet. I think there was one more book earlier that maybe has now shifted to 50.5. I think the line movement when this came out was just an overreaction to the performance against the Broncos, and I'd like to credit the Broncos defense a little bit more. And, everybody can have an off day. The Broncos defense actually plays pretty well. They've sort of stifled most opponents except for maybe the Raiders there. So I do not want to mess with the Seahawks at the 6.5 number that I asked you earlier. I just like the 50. We're both on the 50. I like when we're both on the same page. Let's roll on. This will be a fun game. Do we have is Tua back this week?
Yeah, both of the concussed quarterbacks, Pickett and Tua, are both. It's cleared the protocol; they're ready to play in this game. So, I'm sure the NBC execs are pretty happy about that. Not having to see a slew of backups. The Dolphins are going to have, man, this will be their third quarterback playing in the last two games. We had Bridgewater and Skylar Thompson, and then it's the other way around: Skylar Thompson and then Bridgewater last week. It's just been a mess. So hopefully this will bring a little stability to the Dolphins. Hopefully Tua will be able to stick around. It's the Minka Fitzpatrick return game too. So he goes back to Miami, and I don't know, some guys go back and play against their old team and have a little extra oomph. All the trends here just point to the under. The under has hit 3-1 in two of his 4 starts this season, except for that crazy game in Baltimore. The under's 3-0 on Miami at home, and the under's 3-0 in primetime last week too. It was there not a lot of good games last week under the lights. We saw the under go a perfect 3-0, and it's, I believe, like 18-6 or something, some crazy number overall. I should double check that, but it's basically primetime is equal undertime. And 44.5 is one of those perfect numbers if you like the under. And I even see a 45 there. So I would definitely lock that in.
You want that 45?
Totally.
Under 45. I didn't really know where to go in this game. But I wasn't in love with the over-under, so I'm just going to pull the trigger on a 6.5, and maybe we can get the Dolphins to cover by a touchdown at home. It does seem as though, I don't care who's playing quarterback, Tyreek Hill is open for 150 yards every game. I do not expect that to happen again this week, but if that doesn't, then you're just going to leave some of their other weapons open. Everybody's a competent thrower of the football. None of them are great. But it doesn't seem to really have too much of a drop-off in their offense, per se, when they rotate in and out. So I don't know that Tua finishes the game. I'm a little concerned from what we saw. I referenced like the Sidney Crosby concussions in the beginning of his career and how they let that kid like not play for 2 years because they knew how important it was. You just don't see an adverse reaction like that all the time. I don't know. Either way, Dolphins at home minus 6.5 for me. That might be it's one of the bets that I was the least sure about this week. So it wouldn't surprise me if it went to the L side.
No,
Bears Patriots.
I'll cheer for you. I just the Dolphins. There's just so many question marks there, but the Steelers really looked bad the last time they were on the road too against Buffalo. So that would make me feel a lot better if I got 6.5.
Yeah, I just like to stay ahead of the number if I don't really have any conviction either way.
Well, that makes sense.
Bears Patriots. Does Mac get his job back?
This is a funny thing. It's a Super Bowl 20 rematch, so that's we got that here. This is sort of like the Drew Bledsoe Tom Brady situation. Drew Bledsoe got hurt. Tom Brady was a late round pick. Maybe Bill Belichick has struck lightning twice again. Zappy was lighting it up at Western Kentucky last season, and he looked like a tremendous college quarterback. But for the pros, I didn't really see a Conference USA quarterback come into the NFL and just lighten things up. But this offense has been on fire. 67 points, offensive points the last 2 weeks. The Patriots are actually fun to watch again. It was
Detroit and Cleveland. We'll just side note that.
This is true, but still, it's an NFL team, and he's a 6th-round pick, fifth-round pick. This number is all over the board, though. 7.5, 8.5. I know the Bears are bad, but I don't know if they're that bad. They have scored just 29 or 41 points in the past 3. That's not a lot of offense, but 39.5 is a really low number for the over. I would like to take the over and just kind of hope for the best. Hope for the Patriots keep catching lightning in the bottle with Zappy. Zappy Fields. I'm sure the Troy Aikman and Joe Buck are going to love that matchup. I saw the previews for this game and I'm like, man, I remember Monday night used to be like the night. And some of the matchups, I wish they would start flexing some of these games out because they're pretty bad.
Do you think the Bears can score 17 points?
Maybe. Maybe.
That's fair. That makes me feel even better about my choice.
Maybe.
We talked about this 40 number being kind of ugly and low. And then I talked about that 38 number being just too disgusting.
Yeah.
40 is probably about my minimum here. That 23-17 game, something around that area. But I don't feel like the Bears can score. I see Belichick's on some overrun his last 5 in Foxborough. That is what it is. There we had another Detroit game. The Patriots aren't going to be able to. They're not going to put up 30.
No.
So if I can get out of here at 26-14 at worst, I mean, like I really feel like their ceiling's probably 24 points. And I didn't even look at their team total.
Oh, I definitely don't love the over, but if I was going to do anything, I would take the Bears and the points. But I just, again, we were talking about
force you. You got to take one.
Yeah, we were talking about the primetime games and everything and how they went under last week. I don't know, man.
I like
maybe
the
I
under
just
train on those primetime games.
maybe because the Zappy threw up 38 against the Browns last week and against Browns, but. I just like what I've been seeing from this offense, and Ramondre Stevenson's running the ball really well. We haven't talked about him yet either. He's another guy who looks like a legitimate star since Damian Harris went down. I will still take the over 39.5. I won't love it, but I will officially go with that.
Oh, I like it. We're dueling. This is the only game we're actually on like opposite sides.
It's Monday night. You say you gotta have some fun.
That's right. All right. Well, that's going to close it out. You got anything else you want to add here for the week 7?
No. The week 7 games are not as exciting as we've seen in the past. Like the Bills Chiefs, really look forward to it. I don't really look forward to one particular game this week. If anything, I would kind of go lightly and wait until next week. I think we have some exciting teams that are off this week, including like the Vikings. They're 5-1. They've been in a fun team to watch. I think next week is going to be a much better slate. Some of these games are going to be hard to watch, but when you have winners, that makes it worth watching a little bit more.
Do you have one game you want to put your stamp of approval on here as your favorite pick of the week?
Probably that. San Francisco, the Kansas City -2.5. I like that a lot. Any of the 2.5s, in fact, are good. I kind of liked the Tennessee one against the Colts too, -2.5. That was, I still can't believe that number's so low. The Colts are just bad.
I'm going to do something I shouldn't do. You should never make a parlay SGP teaser your favorite play, but I do love the Jets +7.5 and the under 44.5 here for the Denver and Jets game.
Yeah, those Jets are, they're playing some really good football, and I like the depth that they have on offense. I mean, Breece Hall, he looks amazing. Michael Carter's a decent guy to come in there and give him a breather. They're a really fun team, and I think once the pass game gets going with Wilson, I don't think they're going away.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that's going to end it for us. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys again next week. We're out.
All right. Have a good one, man.